Welcome to ANS Solver question 9 of this paper. So for part A, they are asking us to calculate the estimate mean. So let's do that. When frequency is involved, the formula for calculating an estimate mean is summation fx divided by summation f. So the x value would be the midpoint of the class width. So let's do this. So the frequency, which is 16, multiplied by the midpoint of the class width, which in the first case is 2.5. Now you can find the midpoint by adding both the ends of the range, so 5 plus 0, and dividing it by 2. So therefore 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. And like that you do it for the rest of the class widths. So for the second one, it would be 38 multiplied by 7.5. Next, it would be 30 multiplied by 15. The next one would be 9 multiplied by 25. And the last one would be, 7 multiplied by 40. And the whole thing divided by the total of the frequency, as they've given it to us in the question, as 100 students. So divided by 100. Now all we need to do is take this, simplify the numerator. So 16 multiplied by 2.5 is 40, plus 38 multiplied by 7.5, which is 285, plus 30 multiplied by 15, which is 450, plus 9 multiplied by 25, which is 225, plus 7 multiplied by 40, which is 280. The whole thing divided by 100. Now I'll just take this a bit lower so that it is easier to see. Yeah. Now let's take the sum of the numerator. So 280 plus 225 plus 450 plus 285 plus 40 is equal to 1280. The whole thing divided by 100, which is equal to 1280 divided by 100, which is equal to 12.8. Therefore, your final answer for part A would be $12.8. Now let's move to part B. So for part B, they are asking you to complete the cumulative frequency table. So how we do that is, you simply keep adding the frequency for each amount. So the first one is 16 and for the second one is 38. So 38 plus 16 is equal to 54. Therefore 54 would come as your next or the next frequency, cumulative frequency. So yeah. So you do the same thing for the rest of them as well. So 54 and the next frequency is 30. So 54 plus 30 is equal to 84. Now the next frequency is 9. So 84 plus 9 is equal to 93. And as the last one would be 93 plus 7 is 100, as they have given it to us. Now let's move on to part C of this question. So for part C, they are asking us to draw the cumulative frequency diagram. So we can easily do that. So the points would be the cumulative frequency and the amount. So the first one is 5, 16. So that would be right here. The next one is 10, 54, which would be right here. The next one is 20, 84, which would be right here. The next one is 30, 93, which would be right here. And the last one is 50, 100, that would be right here. Now all we need to do is join the dots, and remember to use a ruler for this and try to draw a freehand drawing so it comes as accurate as possible. So let's do this, and always start your graph from 0. So you go like that, and you simply join the dots like that. Okay, Now let's move to part D of this question. So for part D, they are asking us to use the cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate of the median. Okay, so median would be half of the cumulative frequency. So that is 50 in this case because the cumulative frequency is 100. So half of 100 is 50. Therefore, from 50, you draw a horizontal line that connects you to the graph, and you draw a vertical line down to where to the x-axis to find the value of the dollar amount. So in this case, the value would be $9. Now it's okay if your answer is not the same as mine, because usually for these type of questions, for all these types, that is D part 2 and 3, they will give a range of answers. So if your question, so they probably give a range for the median probably as 9 to 10 or 8.5 to 9.5, something like that. So they give a range. So if your answer is not exactly the same as mine, that's okay. Now let's move to part D2, where they are asking us to find the interquartile range. Now interquartile range is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So the upper quartile, which would be the 75th percentage of the cumulative frequency. Now since it is out of 100, the 75th percentage would be 75. So at the point of 75, you draw a horizontal line and bring it down to the x-axis to see the dollar amount that it reaches to. So in this case, the dollar amount would be, that is 15 and 16. So it would be approximately 16 because it is between 16 and 17. So you can say 16.5. So the upper quartile would be 16.5 minus the lower quartile. So lower quartile would be the 25th percentage of the cumulative frequency, and since it is out of 100, it would be simply 25. So that would be right here. So you draw a horizontal line, and once you do that, you draw a vertical line down connecting it to the x-axis. So now as you can see over here, it is not that accurate. This would come a bit more here and here. Yeah, so as you can see, the vertical line is touching the x-axis when x is 6. So it would be 16.5 minus 6, which is equal to 10.5. Okay, now again, as I said before, for these type of questions, they would give a range of answers because they know it's an estimate, because it's a sketch graph. So if your answer is not exactly the same as mine, it's okay, it can still be correct. Now let's move to part D3. So for part D3, they are asking us to write the number of students who spent more than $25. So from here, or from this part, we have to work the other way around. So from the x-axis, this would be 25. We draw a vertical line up where it connects to the graph. That would be right here. And what we do is we draw a horizontal line connecting it to the graph as well. My bad. So just like this. Okay, so to see how many number of students fall into this category. So this the horizontal line is touching the y-axis at the 89 mark. So therefore they are asking who spent more than 25. So more than 25 would be the number of students that would be left. So 100 minus 89, which would be equal to 11 students. Therefore 11 will be your final answer for part D3 of this question.